Okay, folks, here we go again. This is our 69 Buick Skylark. It is a four-door sedan, as you can see right here. And as you saw in a previous video, windshield is not in it right now because, of course, cars from this area got rot issues. Right up in here, you can barely see it, but you stick your finger through here. Yeah, not a good thing for keeping water out of the interior. Now, this one here obviously needs a lot of body work. It's just something that goes with the territory of a car like this. You see down here, somebody had attempted to do some body work. A little shoddy as far as I was concerned, because all they did was overlap, weld it in, and then they just bondoed the crap out of it, which I really don't like Bondo, but it does have its uses. Now, this car I picked up a really good price, so I'm not complaining too much. Sorry about the lighting out here. It's really bright. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. So, what I'm working on here, I'm going to show you just the overall condition of the car. You see down here too, more of that rust I was talking about. This one here, I'm not sure exactly what the trim package is on this thing, but I tell you what, it's got an awful lot of trim, which of course I really like. I like a lot of the old stainless and aluminum trim that used to come on these cars. And you can see right here, I've already been working on some of this. This here was all rotted out. I've been kind of slowly building it up with weld, trying to fill it all back in. This part here, somebody had pounded down in, I guess, to try and do something with this area, but then this was all bondoed over. So I had to get that all off of there first in order to figure out what I had to work with. See, I also have, sorry about the shadow and the lighting again, down here you can see these holes. It's something else I got to patch up yet. Now, part of the reason I'm showing you this car is, one, show you another project that I'm working on, but two, there is, I mentioned earlier in that other video about the differences in the Buick transmission and the Chevy transmission. Sorry about the lousy video here shortly. These hoods can be a little tricky to get up sometimes. So here's the engine. I don't know how much you can see. It's a Buick 350 two-barrel. Now back here, which is really hard to see because it's dark, let's see if I can't put you in here a little bit. Now if you look down here, let me get these leaves out of the way. So right here, this is a bell housing bolt on the transmission. Yeah, see how this thing has this big dip right here? That's your major difference between your Chevy and your Olds, Buick, and Pontiac transmission bell housings. These will not fit on a Chevy and vice versa. So just wanted to actually show you the difference since I have both here. Now this car, when I bought it, as you can see right over there, is a factory AC car, which, believe it or not, when I got it was already converted to the R134A, and the AC, for the most part, it does work. It doesn't really blow super frigid cold, but it does work. Engine wasn't running. It actually didn't take any money for me to get it running. I just had to clean some stuff up, you know, clean the points, because this is a points condenser distributor. A few vacuum lines. The carburetor itself, excuse me, I didn't have to pull it all. Basically just pulled it off, made sure I had fuel flow, which when I found out I didn't, you can see down in here, I don't know if you can or not, had to replace the fuel pump. That one is another one that's kind of hard to come by because being an AC car, it has a return line. Most of your cars back in these days that did not have AC, there was no return line. It was just straight up pump it from the tank to the carburetor, good to go. This one has a return line specifically for when you're out running around and it's a pretty warm day, and if you have to sit in traffic with the AC on, you have problems with vapor lock. This return line helps to prevent that. Now, as you can see, we do have, you know, rust. As far as I know, this is a Pennsylvania car, so the salt on the roads, well, sorry, they haven't used salt in a number of years. It's calcium chloride is what they use now. This stuff is terrible for metal. Even on these new cars, you see them running around, they're already starting to rust out. So on this car, I've redone all the brakes, got new shoes, spring kits, redid the wheel bearings up front, all the fluid in the rear, redone, checked it out while I was at it. Excuse me. This one has what's called a Super Turbine 300 transmission. It's basically Buick's version of a Power Glide, just a 2-speed automatic. This was the last year that they used that transmission. I think it was they only ran it for 4 years. Give you a brief glimpse of the interior here. And we'll come in through the windshield since it's not here. As you can see, from sitting, the tops of the seats are kind of tore up. I have the headliner out of it because all of the seams were ripped. So basically what I did was I rebuilt it. You can see too here, there are absolutely no cracks in this dash. Now, considering this is a 69, that's amazing. Something else I found interesting, I'm going to cover this up a little bit so you can see it. This is a map light. So this car had some bells and whistles. It's not a tilt column, which, oh well. Open up the door here. As far as the floors, this is the only rust on this car, which I'm still unsure of how it got here because it's up high. Usually in a floor, what rusts out's up there underneath of the pedal in the low spots. But this one rusted out in a high spot. I don't get that. But hey, it is what it is. So I'm going to have to basically rebuild this because this is also the body mount and the floor support. Sorry. Aimed what I'm pointing at here. This is a lap belt car, but it also had the optional shoulder belts, which aren't in it right now, of course, because I pulled the headliner. But everything is hand adjusted. It doesn't automatically retract. You basically set it for you when you go get in to start driving, and then it's set for you, and if somebody else has to get in it, they got to reset it. Something else I find really cool about these old cars, that button right there, that's for the high beam, low beam. Call it the dimmer switch. My 78 Nova has that too still. That went away more or less in the 80s unless you had a Chevy pickup. I had an 82, I don't know if it was 82 or 83 was the last year for that, which for me, I like that thing being down there instead of up on the steering column, because this thing, all it is a turn signal switch, nothing else. It's so much easier with the wiring and everything else. So you can see my dash here. Now mileage, I don't know how well you can see it, but it says 95,903. I'm gonna guess that's probably 195, but you can see all the nifty things in here. Sonomatic. No idea what that means. The radio kind of worked when I got it, but I'm gonna have to probably pull it apart. I have an uncle that's been an electrician for probably 50 years, so maybe he can help me out with it. Here's your temp control, climate controls. Of course, cigarette lighter right next to the dash. You get a good, oh wow, I am way too close. Remote mirror. Of course, these old cars only had the driver's side mirror. I don't know how well you can see that door panel, but it's an awesome shape. Most of the interior on this thing is really good. Got no complaints. The seat is super comfortable. Now, this car needs a lot of work. I'm doing it slowly. Of course, your typical Buick fins, or gills, however you want to put them, I really like those things. Your older ones had, up here, had three little, I don't know what you want to call them, trim pieces. And then later models, they went back to that. But now this being 69, it was the second year after federal government mandated you had to have side marker lights. 68 was the first year for that and everything. Some people went earlier, some people just waited till the last minute. But I think this car might have started off its life as a vinyl top, but I don't know for sure, because I can't see any other reason to have all of this extra trim back here, because it goes all the way up here and goes all the way around the back windshield. As far as the trunk, there's not a whole lot of rust in it. Pop the trunk lid here so you can see. Well, you might be able to see some of it. There's some old tires and stuff in here. You see that? I had to work on that to make sure that that opened up nice. There's the original hubcaps. I think I have 2 or 3 of them, something like that. Original bumper jack, that all came with the car. Here's some of the trim that was around the back wheels. That's the ashtray out of the front. It's missing its ball bearings, so I can't use that. Now, the only actual rot, this here is that quarter panel you can see from the outside. That's all rusted out. But let me lift this up and show you the floor in here. Actually, you know what? Let me move some stuff and I'll bring it right back. Alright, so look at the bottom of this trunk pan. As you can see, there aren't any holes. It's something I was extremely surprised and pleased about. So the only actual floor work I got to do is up there in on the driver's side. Like I said, this is the trunk trim, and of course the emblem. A lot of these old cars, what they had the problem with, see if I can get this out of here without breaking it. Show you. These tabs right here, this one you can see, this is broke off. This is how long they're supposed to be. Now this one here isn't even really usable either, but almost every single one of these, all the way down it, are broken or corroded because they made these pieces out of pot metal, so it wasn't very strong. Plus the car is, oh good grief, how old is this thing? Let's see, 69, 79, 89, 09, oop, forgot 99, and then 19. This is a 50-year-old car, so you can't expect things to last forever. But considering it's that old, of course you can see the quarter panel rot from the inside over here too. Considering it's that old, I would have to say this thing is in really good shape. And like I said, I picked it up for a really good price, because what was happening is the guy was losing his storage lot and he just wanted it to go to a good home. But yeah, so this is something else I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be doing videos on. I just wanted to give you an introduction to it. Like I said, this one here, this is, I would have to say, my baby, at least right now, because I love these old cars. And where I'm at, we got emissions laws, but this one, I don't have to worry about it because it's emissions exempt, which I love that. So, more to come. Until then, have a good one.